Hi, this is Mike Dunfee with the Mike Dunfee Group based here in Long Beach, California. Today's video, I will talk about renter's insurance, why it's important for the renter, the landlord, and management. Plus, I'll give you some best practices and tips for working with renter's insurance. First of all, the renter. Renter's insurance, at the end of the day, is for your protection. It's your stuff, it's your liability. It's to protect you. It's also less expensive than you might think. It's about $10, $12, $14, some number like that per month. And it can often be paid on a monthly basis as well. Kind of like the insurance you pay for on your smartphone, which is not too different of a price, by the way. If forgetting is for your protection and it's not expensive, it's also in your lease. Almost every lease has this in it. You've already agreed to get renter's insurance, so you should just go through with it. It's for your own good. Look, without renter's insurance, if an incident happens, everybody's going to be covered but you. So if your neighbor starts a fire and smoke comes out and the sprinklers come on and water goes everywhere and your stuff gets damaged, your landlord's insurance will take care of him, your neighbor's insurance will take care of them, but your stuff will not be covered. Everybody will come to the table and you won't have insurance. You need insurance, even for stuff that other people's that happen that are other people's fault. Okay? If you're the landlord, you don't want the conflict, even if you technically don't owe money to the tenant for their belongings. If something went wrong with the building, they still may come after you. The judge could still rule, however the judge rules. You don't want the conflict. You don't want the gaps in coverage. You don't want the liability and or the extra risk. So you're in control as a landlord. Make sure your tenants have renter's insurance. Property managers, let's face it, back to conflict. If everyone has insurance and something happens, it's much more of a peaceful process. There's more resources of relocating tenants, who pays for the rent, the loss of use, the belongings. Everything's covered if everybody has insurance. So as opposed to the situation when if a party doesn't have the proper insurance, it puts you in the middle of a big mess, and it's not worth it. Make your life easier and make sure everyone has their renter's insurance. And besides, it's part of our job as managers is to check that. It's a challenge in many cases because there's some tricks and people try not to get their insurance, or you can be overlooked. But some of the things that I'll call best practices is one would be, it may sound obvious, don't hand over the keys unless they prove to you they have renter's insurance. Don't extend the lease unless they show you they have renter's insurance. Also, make sure the management company is included as an additional interest. It doesn't cost extra money, but what happens if that tenant gets their insurance and they decide to cancel it? You get notice, and in that way you can address the problem at that time. Something we started to do is, as part of our new lease agreements, is say if you don't have renter's insurance or your policy is discontinued, there's a liability only policy that gets automatically added on. It's like $12.50 a month. The tenant is better insured with their own insurance, but at least there's a liability portion that gets put on there automatically if they fail to do so. We're finding that as a good little stopgap. And this can be all tracked through any quality property management software. You still have to use it. It still takes a little effort. But let me tell you, when things go wrong, it takes a lot of effort. And it's just part of the checklist and part of us doing our job. Renter's insurance, maybe used to be a luxury, but these days it's like a new reality. People expect to get it. Any large apartment complex is going to insist on it. Professional management companies insist on it. If for some reason you are letting this slide, you're making a mistake and you're not doing right by your owners or your tenants for that matter. So renter's insurance, make sure everybody has it.